5 showed up for another job. We're packing them in every week. We're doing a solar job. And this week, we don't know what we're going to call this yet, but I know I've been looking forward to this. For one thing, these are good friends. And then secondly, this is a time of use system. So we're going to set up the Sol-Ark inverter to handle their very high time of use rates. They pay $12 a kilowatt for different periods of time during the day. And they pay 5 cents for normal times. So for 1 hour. Okay, we didn't get a full day in today, but we had a good day. We had a lot of travel time. We got our 4 posts in, and they're looking like one. That's what we want. Looking good. Got our conduit ditch in here. We did miss one water line. We found that, but we busted another one. We fixed that, and we had to cross a well line, another conduit. Oh, a bunch of stuff up there. So that's always slows you down. But we're doing good. It's end of day 1. Tomorrow we'll backfill this and start the electrical side of things, and we will also build the solar array. So this is again a time of use. They charge, and I probably will say that too many times. I'm just excited to do it, and we'll build this array tomorrow. It's about a 10.4, I think, kW. We've got 72 cell, 385 watt Axitex times. So it's 385 times 28, sorry, 385 times 28. And oh, look at them ruminants over there. Man, that's another whole video I want to do. But South Poles, this is a friend of mine who's a dairy farmer and just a good all-around homesteader, and just love these folks, and they do a great job with their farm, and they're moving their dairy to this location, and we're going to take it off the grid. Yeehaw. All right, day 1, we'll be back. So in here, we're going to do another corner gutter. We're going to mount the Sol-Ark on this wall. Got a nice little SketchUp model we're working from. And we're going to have 2 of the eFlex 5.4 kilowatt Fortress Power lithium-ion batteries. LFP, lithium ferrophosphates. We're going to be combining them. These are some combiners I got from Storm Components, and they're going to go, as you can see, we're figuring out the best way to mount these in our 8x8 wiring trough. We got a bypass switch down here, and then we'll have 2 eFlexes on the wall. You could put another one down here later on if we needed more capacity, or even one over here. So this is going to be again, programmed for time of use, and I believe in a couple of weeks I'll have to come back. There's going to be an upgrade to the batteries. These 5.4 eFlexes will be directly connected to the Sol-Ark, and so you can better monitoring of the charging algorithms, working with the BMS, so that the inverter, so when the batteries are full, the inverter backs off, and they're just not a separate battery bank. They're truly connected. Software's in sync, and so that's a much better. Anyway, that's helps with the warranty. So they're full 10 years on the eFlex 5.4s when we do that. So that's awesome. All right, so this is our first time putting up the eFlexes. They got wall mount brackets. They do have floor mount brackets if we wanted to do that, and then you can also put them in a computer server rack. So right now, guys are just getting our feeds in. Here's our DC feeds, solar, coming up through this EMT. We got our AC number 6s back and forth for bypass and grid support. And so today, the second day of a job, is when we really start roughing things out. And then third day is pretty much buttoning things up. And then the fourth day is clean up, test, and we usually can knock out a pretty good size system in 4 days, and that includes travel. So that's boogieing, but we have fun doing it. Here's the inverter. These are the eFlexes. Those are the boxes for hardware. I'll show you that in a bit. The other thing that is getting roughed out is putting in a critical loads panel. We're going to put it on this side of the room and pull all the circuits that we need to over into it, leaving the 200 amp connection to the main. We were going to make this the critical loads panel, but it'll be so much more difficult. So we're leaving this, moving the circuits we want down through the crawl space and up and into the critical loads panel. And there, we got a lot to do. All right, folks, end of day 3. We've got the Sol-Ark up and running. We got the Fortress Eflex 5.4s up and running, and we're charging them both on solar and grid power. We just turned some grid power onto them, and we're getting the batteries charged up. So they're doing good. The absorb, the flow, it's 54.4 volts, and we're hitting that. So I'll take a peek underneath. If you can see the battery, it's 3 out of 4 bars. It's working on charging nicely. I think this one hasn't hit the 3rd bar yet. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. All right, got our combiner bus bars down here, and we did ground them, not required, but according to Fortress, we went ahead and did it anyway. It was in the manual, so we did do that. Some of the settings you want to pay attention to on your battery if you're doing a Sol-Ark install, that is. And battery setup is 54.4 for the 6,000 cycle settings, 54.4 on everything, and I would do that on the equalize too.
You got the carcass.
Why? We should have the equalize at 54.4 as well.
I was just giving a little pap, option for pap.
I don't like that. Okay.
Well, it's never going to EQ. I just was giving it a chance.
Just giving it a
Pap.
I see.
They don't call me Picante for
Putting
nothing.
4 kilowatts in the battery right now.
Why they call me Picante?
Is that what they call you? They call you a lot of things, Johnny boy. All right. Well, we're ready to try this baby. We haven't run any loads yet, but we're getting the battery. We're gonna top this battery off before we do any load testing. That's exciting. All right, so I'm just kind of showing you how the sausage is made again. We're looking at all the guts of everything. We put in a bypass. Very critical, we feel, for all of our systems to put in some sort of bypass. So if there is ever an issue with any of the products, then you can put it in bypass and we'll come do a service call and fix whatever is wrong, or you'll have to have a service call. But fortunately, everything's been real reliable from Sol-Ark and Fortress Power. Haven't had that kind of issue. So, but you never know. So we put a bypass switch in. All right, end of day 3. We've made it quite a long ways. Complete system up and running. Hardest thing was moving the critical loads panel. Let me show you that. So, buttoning those up now. So we took the main panel and had a lot of fun going down through the old hard as iron boards and running all the circuits over into this critical loads panel. So we have basically moved the entire house over here. You might be wondering why we did that, not just power that. Well, it's an old panel with a 3-wire system, and to upgrade it would have been more difficult. So we are selling back to this point, and we just left one furnace circuit in here, and that's it. So we're running this entire house. We will be, and some other outbuildings. So that's cool. So we're in business. We left one more room, another slot for a double pole 30 to sub feed a. You found one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. To sub feed a little micro dairy. I'm real excited for the customer when he gets this thing up and running. It's going to be, he milks jerseys. He's A2 certified. That's another whole video. I'm going to get into some more homesteading videos soon, folks, because I'm going to get back to more, I say that, but time on the farm and really wanting to put more effort into raising some good food. So anyway, that's a detour, but that's what he's going to be running here, running his little milk parlor, and that's going to be exciting. Makes a really awesome product. All right, the end of day 3, we were able to boogie. We had Larry's help on this one, so we were able to, he saved us at least a day. All right, I'll show you the outside. Okay, day 4, we're commissioning and starting to load test the system, and we're gonna have some fun today. We got a little hack too, we called Fortress, and they Said to cut everything. We're doing a little RS485 communication. And what's cool is when you come into the battery settings, you now see a lithium battery info. You click on that and it'll tell you the status. I know you probably can't see that. It tells you the status of the battery. And so we waited and we charged it overnight, make sure the batteries were 100% before we did any load testing according to the manual. So that's cool. That's a new addition. That is way cool. So we are communicating now. We set our charge rates according to what Fortress tells us to do to get the maximum number of cycles. We're going for 10 years on these batteries. And so we're connected now just to get a little bit of communication going on here. So that's nice. And that helps with controlling the charging. And so it's just not a battery out there by itself. So we're doing good. We just we got the house running on the system. It's early in the morning. Solar's starting to come in. We actually got 2,300 watts of solar coming in. That's sweet. So we've got, yeah, about 3 kW. We're actually using some grid power right now. So we're not off the grid, but I'm about to do that too. All right, we're finalizing our system here today. This is pretty exciting.
Yes, it is.
And the customer thinks so too. And the cool thing about this is not only the lithium battery set up here with the eFlexes, but the time of use programming. So from 4 to 7 up until November, we will be selling power back at a rate of 5,000 watts up to a 20% discharge on the battery. So we're going to use the battery and not use the utility because their rates are pretty high. Actually at $12 a kilowatt right now, and that's crazy. And then they're 5 cents a kilowatt normally. So, and then from November to April, they switched to 9 in the morning to 6 in the morning to 9 in the morning. They have the same rate structure, but it just changes. So the Sol-Ark can be programmed to offset that use, and hopefully we can net zero this house, except for their meter. We can't take away what the meter costs to have the privilege to be connected. But we're getting there. We're set up in time of limited power to home right now. We will do grid cell as soon as we get approved by the utilities. But we passed inspection today, and that made us happy. We put our traditional bypass in case there's any issues with any of this equipment. The customer can just flip it up to bypass, and it's as if we were never here. The batteries are now being controlled through a CAN bus connection, and that's going to be even upgraded even more in 2 weeks. There'll be an update for the batteries, the software there, so there'll be better communication, so we can get the full 10 years out of these batteries, or 8,000 cycles, I believe. No, 6 years, 6,000 cycles at an 80% depth of discharge. So really happy with the system. Enjoyed working with the crew again, Johnny Boy and Gain Solar Services. And so we're out of here. We'll be back to do the final commissioning with the utility here in probably a couple of weeks, but the system is working as advertised. So we're heading home and on to, I think, some undisclosed location in North Georgia next week. See you soon.